Cases of flu and viruses come and go, seasonal aspects that swept its way in from changing weather or by malicious, or wicked hands. I have experienced different kinds of cases of flu in a society that I live in, but nothing could come near to the coronavirus that caused an epidemic, destruction, and chaos worldwide. The structure for this virus, no one seems to know its origin, as it caused death and havoc in Wuhan, China, the alleged epicenter of the virus. The blame game escalated to bats, a delicacy that Chinese nationals accustomed eating as part of their dish. Next to that, the blame jumped to an earlier interest in pangolins, as a possible source of human coronavirus infection, snakes, cats, dogs, and the list goes on. The tiresome burden of trying to find the origin of the coronavirus continues in a highlighted dramatic episode. My question is, if bats were the source of the virus, wouldn't all the bats be dead by now or showing some kind of infections, and also the other animals that blame was directed to? Hundreds and thousands of people continue to fall ill, and for the weak, there was no sympathy as the virus gave them a premature passing. Am I afraid of this coronavirus? Am I going to panic and show fear? Those elements have no place in my being, as I am an individual who is very optimistic with a calm, that never indulges in infiltrations that do not help my structural standing. I watched as I see individuals panic and show fear of this dreadful virus, but what can anyone do, but try to safeguard oneself and those in immediate contact with you? The tensions that this virus causes so overwhelming for others, as cities, states, towns, and countries continue to be closed off, bringing a halt to business and living as some know it. The flu always has a distinctive feature, and it comes with all symptoms, but this coronavirus is very different, as it's targeting the older generation, which is something that I find very strange, and everyone should consider that this virus is not a virus but a biological weapon. The flu has to be altered, chemically neutral, to act as a potent matter. The base of it is registered to do immediate damage. The signs of effects of the coronavirus seem to be generated from strains of different cell elements of different cases of flu, and other damaging agents. The coronavirus is a lethal cocktail of a weapon, a death trap for many of the older age. Was this virus made in a lab somewhere? Only God knows, and whoever is behind this flu base element. Common sense thinking here, everyone. By now we should all know of strategies that some would go through to get what they want from others. Some will surely damage and destroy to get what they want. Is this virus an accelerant? Who knows? For sure it is of biological content, and those elements do not just fly off the shelves, they are made. The interior base of the coronavirus should have a blueprint that would lead the scientist to its producer. For years animal testings has contributed to many types of research, and elements of great multitudes have been tested on. For instance, space exploration is not only to get a fancy satellite up in space, and ocean exploration is not only to search for treasure, but there is also a greater reason why scientists do research, and that is to find out how things work, how they can manipulate other things, in the scientific world of exploration. The test is done on every and anything that can cause a reaction to occur. Right now, the cruise industry, etc., has been halted. The life of living, as some individuals know it, has been halted. Individuals wait anxiously to find out what is going on, or if they too will be victims of the coronavirus. The weight bar is heavy on both sides. The secrecy behind the original death toll, burials, and the infected, continue to be questioned by leaders and the public, who does not find sufficient protocols and method that suit the happenings. The tension of the fear, the panic, the social distancing from each other, the shutdowns and the curfews, is overwhelming, as individuals are now prisoners in their own homes, a drastic change from days before of free living. Death is on the nation's doorstep as the coronavirus continues to claim victims on end. This is now a global epidemic, and as the coronavirus creeps on land, there are some countries, islands, and states that have not tasted its fury, but yet the panic and fear wave still channels through. The maximum cause for such a destructive element only shows what hazardous elements can do when based together to form an elite world-ending catastrophe for mankind. If the coronavirus function is to take out the older generation, they could be others that could be other elements generated to harm small babes, the youth, or everyone. Why do such elements exits? That question lays on everyone's tongue. Does killing off the population of elders make it easier for some? In terms of their welfare and care, that would be diminished. The elders take up a massive part of societies, they have possessions worldwide, as they are the ones who help form foundations for others to live on. This is a superficial, dark and twisted way of a biblical term of removing the tares from the wheat. In this era, the tares are the weak and elderly, and the wheat is the strong individuals. Some individuals in societies in this world that all live in, like to mimic ways of the past. The destructive rate of bringing back elements that were once lost or hidden are just to amuse their curiosity, and sometimes curiosity can get people killed, as some elements are nurtured and enhanced to cause a greater and damaging effect. The stubbornness of individuals to see and understand that discoveries are based upon explorations, to find things, and see how they work and impact, and continue working throughout time. It is not hard to see and understand that the Earth's surface and societies has been tainted with past wears. Tests are carried out, as everything needs to be tested, and as test agents, humans will have to be involved. The root of the matter is that mankind has now found themselves on the specimens list. No longer is mice, rats and monkeys needed, mankind can be found on top of the needed specimen list. They are a bigger bargaining tool for a test to be implemented. Humans continue to be tested on, their heart, brain, blood cells, you name it. Every element and aspect of the human body intrigues scientists looking for breakthroughs, and testing a subject. One may have to find all elements that can be introduced to cause friction to the specimen. As there will be a cause, there will be a cure. Who is taking the blame for this destructive element? No one. Again, Mother Nature or her creations is blamed for the lucent destructive act. Are added to a list of ways that mankind continues to throw in her face. Everything always seems to fall at Mother Nature, as her elements of destruction, a twisted way that the wicked try to use to hide and cover up, manipulating deeds of their own. Why now? The implosive act that will come from this coronavirus is not going to be of a good showing. Many have suffered, and continue to. Lives have been lost, and ignorance is displayed among many. Mankind is causing friction among themselves, an implosion that could destroy all. What about me? I stand grounded, faithful and hopeful, because I know that my God is bigger than this evil that has come upon mankind called the coronavirus, and eventually, God is going to put things right. God always tells me that a bad day's filter could turn around and be your flourishing, and I have experienced many flourishing out of bad days' filters, so yes, I do believe in the greater good of all bad matters. The selfish and wicked act that causes this virus to be distributed, and the person or persons behind it, just have a dark heart without any core, and they should be damned for what they have done, to a steady people living in a world of societies just wanting to live. There are no justifications for anyone that rooted a whole world of societies to an uncomfortable state. Right now, everything remains silent, as sirens can be heard in distances, people in sanitized uniforms, and individuals with a dormant look on their faces, reminders of what has come upon the people living in societies in the world that all live in. In other places, the biased thinking and actions that some have cast upon each other are inhumane, and it only shows how fast others would turn against each other in a fight to live, as they resort to filling their trays. Wayward positioning does not hold any ground for the actions of some individuals, as their actions are not far from what the coronavirus is doing, and that is wreaking havoc, disruption, tension, distance, etc. Some individuals take the stance of wilder beast mode and change into a self-centered people that care less for others. A function that the coronavirus has shown up among many for the world of societies to see, and that is their true way. No filters or camouflage is needed, as everything is already in the limelight. Leaders continue to frustrate themselves on the right move to make, the right decisions to call, and the right ruling to implement, and as some of them continue to fall from the touch of the coronavirus themselves, the life of living for others continues to be a pause. The recommendation from leaders is that everyone's life is in their own hands, and it is what they do that would help keep them safe. Wash hands thoroughly, sanitize, wear protective clothing, social distancing is now mandatory, so stay away from crowds. Staying at home are the ruling methods that everyone has to partake in, mandatory allegiance aspects that have been channeled through societies worldwide. Prayers are prominent for some individuals at this time, and hope with the institution of faith, to know that soon a cure will be found and this virus would fade in the wind. As anchors drop to the seafloor, and upon leaving a hole of where it once lay, one can see a reminder, so will the virus leave a scar of a reminder on many families who lost someone dear to them. Words cannot bring back their passing, but good memories could keep them in thoughts, sweet memories of who they were before they pass on. A lot of individuals did not have time to do proper burials for their dear ones, because of contamination, but prayers are always prominent. It is a lucent factor that can be channeled to do a greater good, as the spiritual is with the natural. You can say a prayer for your loved ones, to help them channel through. The coronavirus stole a lot from people, and I hope that all those individuals affected by it, in form or the loss of someone dear, do not let it take what they hold most of themselves, and that is a loving heart. The scars of the coronavirus COVID-19 will be in the mind and memories of others, as the virus that brought a world of societies to a standstill. No kneeling is involved in this phrasing, as it is not a God of sovereign structure. No one kneels to perpetrators and evildoers, that is just out to kill. Kneeling just shows weakness, and the willingness to give in. With this coronavirus, you cannot give in, or give up, but take the bull by the horns and ride it out. I hope that everyone remains safe and carries out all necessary procedures to keep themselves safe, and my deepest condolences go out to all those who lost someone to the coronavirus. They may be gone but not forgotten, just continue to keep the sweet memories of them alive. I am still here like everyone else, and wait patiently on the outcome of the coronavirus. Everyone stays safe, and I pray for the fast recoveries of all others infected. Show no fear and do not panic, and through faith, always know to whom you belong.